So over the last couple of days, I've had about 47 and a half people tweet or comment at me a particular video by a French speaking YouTube channel. I'm going to say IDBooks, IDBOOX, that's how you spell it. And on this channel, they have got hands-on with Surface Duo 2, and they're showing it in much more detail than any other channel around. This video's got only 1,000 views, which is not very many at all. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of scrub through it, find moments that I think are interesting, and talk about them. And I'm also going to link to this video in the description down below. Please do go click on it, go watch it. Just let the thing play. Even if you don't speak French, just let the thing play through. Give them a little bit of help while I go over some of the cool stuff they've shown off in their video. So this thing starts off, look at that in my videos next. The video starts off pretty normal. I mean, they're just kind of looking at the hardware itself. And I mean, if you picked it up from that angle, you could be excused for just thinking that was simply Surface Duo 1. The biggest thing that you're going to see different here is the fact that you can see just how it's curved, it's chamfered towards the edge a little bit more than it is with the normal Surface Duo. And it's really subtle, and it's real. I was going to try and compare, but it's really hard to tell the difference. That pretty much looks like the original Surface Duo. See if they turn this thing around. Of course, that's Surface Duo 2. It's black. It's got a big camera bump. And of course, you can now tell that this is Surface Duo 2 because you can see the placement of the USB-C port. We still have not seen the camera module around back, but you can see there that does have the center-mounted USB-C port there. We get a good look here at what the lock screen looks like, right? If you have a notification or something like that. And it does look a little bit different than it does on the original Surface Duo. I won't get this close enough where you can see my messages, but you can see there's a clock on one side, but on Duo 2, the messages, the notifications don't have a gap in between them like they do on the first one. You also have a different unlock button, and the camera and flashlight buttons are both on now the same screen, which is the screen with the notifications on it, this one over here. They've moved a few things around on the lock screen, which does make sense because the camera is in a fixed position now. You don't flip it around. And so here we actually get a look at two things, one that's cool, one that is slightly concerning. So let's zoom in a bit here as well. So you can see here the notification shade that looks very different. You've got your brightness and your volume there up at the top that are going to be manually able to be kind of messed with and so forth. But what you can also see is that the notification shade is like halfway through the hinge in the middle for some reason. So the notifications have glitched out and are like halfway through the screen. That's kind of a bummer in terms of glitches and so forth, not being something that we want to be seeing. So this is an angle we haven't really gotten a great look at. And you can see here the power button with the fingerprint scanner there in combination. I think it looks pretty good. On the original Surface Duo, you have a power button and then a little space there, which is the fingerprint scanner. On Duo 2, of course, power button and fingerprint scanner are one and the same. Now, we'll say here, look how quickly that wakes up and turns on. Now, I feel like that's something I've been dealing with Duo, is just how quick it is to turn on, to unlock, and so forth and so on. That actually is very encouraging to me. Compare that to what we just saw in this video. Let's jump back and I'll let you see it again to compare. That's quite a bit faster for my my timer. Okay, so here we go. We're launching the camera app, and you can get a look here of what we're dealing with. Slow-mo, video, photo, portrait, and panorama. 2x zoom, that's your standard, and 0.5 is your ultra-wide. Everything looks as you'd expect to hear. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to say much about photo quality in this thing because we're looking at a video of a viewfinder, and of course, none of the effects have been added. None of the processing has been added, but I can say that, I mean, it doesn't look terrible, right? It looks relatively quick and snappy. All right, now we're looking at the selfie camera. Now there's an interesting thing there. Portrait mode is actually applying the blur look to it in the viewfinder to help you know what that's going to look like. That's a relatively more advanced feature that is not in all flagship phones yet. I think it's in a lot of them now, like the Samsung phones, but definitely was not something that was in the original Duo. All right, now they're going to span the camera app between the two screens, which will allow us to, like I've talked about here, have the camera app open as well as having your last taken picture open there for you to be able to see. Now, this is not good though. They clicked on edit and then just nothing's happening. So that appears to be broken. I want to really stress something here though before we go any further and before we encounter any more weird bugs like this notification shade, like the edit button. This is probably still pre-release software to some degree, what we've got in these very limited sorts of things in these stores. So we shouldn't be freaking out too awful much, but it's definitely not exciting to see the edit button in the camera app not do anything, but we've seen them use it. So we have to believe it is in fact real. Here's something else interesting. Did you notice anything there? Or maybe you didn't notice something there. Let's go back. I'll play it for you again. Anything in particular? This is something that Zach from Windows Central pointed out, and there it is. There's no animations in this build. So again, this has got to be early pre-release software. What do I mean by that? Well, let's launch Outlook on my phone and watch what it looks like. See how it zooms in and then it will zoom back out very laggily? Well, let's go back to that video. Watch what happens when she selects Outlook. There's no animation. It just pops into place. And again, when launching Edge, just pops into place, no animation. And yes, I know if you go into developer options, you can actually manually disable those animations yourself. Zach from Windows Central said he checked and that was not what was going on. This seems to be a quirk of the actual system software. Should be easily fixed. Here's something else here. She folds this around into phone mode. And here, is there something that you notice here or don't notice here? Let's play it one more time in phone mode. Guess what didn't happen? There were no sorts of weird flashing of screens, things doing all kinds of weird stuff. I would love to see them go into phone mode on the desktop and see how quickly the icons flow over on the taskbar. But I think I know, as well as everybody watching knows, when you go into phone mode, it often does really weird things. And because Surface Duo 2 will always now default to this screen being the phone mode screen, that's going to cut down on a lot of that weird guessing it's having to do and resulting in some weird, strange behavior. So watch this here. As she goes into phone mode, she's not quite got it turned around. She still doesn't, you can see here the hinge, she doesn't quite have it connected all the way around and the device does not quite know how to act. It isn't until the moment that the camera bump touches the other side of the device that it snaps into phone mode, and it does it very quickly at that point. Watch that again. What's weird is that the clock actually jumps into the middle, like it's bridging the gap, and then snaps into place. That is rather odd. You can see here an accidental rotation, kind of, and then back. That's pretty quick. That's actually a lot quicker than what we're used to on the original Surface Duo. Let's continue giving some like real-time demonstrations. Let's see how long does that take. And then let's go back. Yeah, so that's like 4 times faster than we're used to on the original Surface Duo. That's a good thing. And we're going to see rotation again here. That is so much faster than what we've had. Oh my God, that makes me happy. So we're spanning the Play Store here now. Once they go into book mode, or tint mode rather, you see as a flash happens there. That looks very strange. Can I be quick enough to catch this in the middle? So there's a spot where it's just blanked out. So it briefly showed the wallpaper as it like relaunched the app to fit on one screen now instead of being on 2. That is an interesting behavior. Okay, so like I said earlier, this is a 14-minute long video, and I'm only going to highlight a few things in here that I thought were interesting. Please do click the link in the video in the description and watch their video too. Go give them some love. Maybe do some Google Translate English over to French. Maybe you speak French. I don't speak French. I'm unilingual. I'm barely unilingual, actually. So if you want to go show them some love in their comments and go give them a watch, please do go do that, because I'm just talking over their content at this point. If you made it to the end of today's video, thank you so much for having done so. If you want to support the channel, click that join button down below, and it is the best way to help support this channel directly, other than just watching the content, which you've already done. So thanks for that. Stay tuned for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.